G'day guys, Googs here. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about women not getting as much money as men in sport. Now I'd like to first of all point out that I don't have a problem with women, any women, who are really awesome at their sport, being paid the same as the men. I mean, why not? You look at someone like Serena Williams, I mean, she's not short of $1 or $3. If you look at Nat Bradalova, same game, tennis. So why is it that women in tennis are being paid so much? Well, it's not so much they're being paid a lot for playing tennis. It's the sponsorships that make them the money. It's like basketball. You look at half the guys that play basketball, college basketball, or the lower grades. You know, they're not so quite as good as other guys like, say, Zion, who's an absolute gem on the court. Why are they still making good money with sponsorships? Team sponsorships and things like this. They get their shoes, they get their money, they get all the rest of that stuff. 99% of the money that male sports stars make is in sponsorships. Now, this is where the corporate world comes into it. Now, there's a lot of companies at the moment, Gillette and Nike and all these other groups, corporations, sporting corporations and whatnot. Coca-Cola is in there as well. We're so woke, we're so progressive. We love all the women's. If you're a woman, we love you. Making all these wonderful inclusive ads, and all their sponsorship money is going to the male players. Why? Money talks, and that's the end of the subject. You see, the male teams have been playing for a very long time. They're well known, they're well respected. People watch those games. Now, I'm not saying that the women's sports aren't as entertaining. I quite enjoy watching women's AFL, and I think it's a great game. It's a bit slower than the guys' game. And it sort of reminds me back in the day, the late 80s, early 90s style of play, and I absolutely adore it. I think in some ways it's better than the males' footy teams. So why aren't they getting as paid as well as, say, the captain of the West Coast Eagles? Sponsorship. That's what it comes down to. So all these corporations that everybody seems to be loving at the moment for their gender inclusive and whatever else it is messages are the ones who are not paying the women as much as they are paying the men. So if you really want to break it down, the corporations here are at fault. It's not the men's fault that these sponsors come out and give them lots of money. And all these sponsors are corporate sponsors, and they don't put their money where their mouth is. Now, if I was a political activist, which I'm not, but if I was, wanting equal play for women as to the men in sports, I'd be going hammer and tongs at Coca-Cola, Nike, Adidas, Gillette, all these so-called woke brands, and saying, hey, buddy, put your money where your mouth is. Go to the media. Put your money where your mouth is. If they don't, then you know that all these apparently woke corporations are full of shit. And by the way, they are full of shit. They don't care about you or your bloody latest political intrigues. Don't be fooled. Not trying to blast my credentials here, but I'm from the generation that woke up to what corporations were. And I hate corporations. I really do. I'm a capitalist, but to me, corporations don't speak of capitalism. They smack of oligarchy, tyranny, and monopoly, which is against the principles of capitalism. Corporations, man, they only care about money. That's it. That's all. If they don't think, for example, they can make as much money from sponsoring a famous women's soccer player as they could the same from a famous male soccer player, their money's not going to the female soccer player. Even though, as a woman, in the women's league, she is every bit as good as, say Ronaldo for her league. Well, maybe it's about time that these people, instead of blaming the fans went and started actually looking at the bloody corporate models, actually talking to Gillette, talking to Nike, talking to Adidas, talking to all these people and saying, hey, why are you paying and sponsoring the men for more money than us? Well, I can tell you why. They don't make as much money from having a woman soccer player with a Nike badge on or Nike running shoes as they would a bloke. At the end of the day, when it comes to corporation, it's dollars and cents, and that's it. So for all those people who think that corporations supporting your cause is a good thing, they don't care as long as it equates dollars and cents. And if it stops making them money, man, they'll just drop you. I'll give you an example of what I mean. It's a completely different field, obviously. I'm now venturing into the world of the media, but the Fairfax Press for quite some time hired Clementine Ford as their feminist editor. She used to write editorials for the Age, I believe it was. And as soon as she became too controversial, as soon as she wasn't making the money, they dumped her. Or they put her in a situation where she walked away. They don't care about you and your political cause. They care about money. So it's about time that everyone who hasn't realised this yet, especially some of you younger folk who've never known anything but the modern corporate model, wake up. There's a reason in the mid-90s, in the late 90s, there was a big push against Wall Street. It wasn't a push against capitalism. It was a push against the tyranny of the corporation. They don't care about you. They don't care about your cause. They just want to make money. And if they think they can make money from it, they'll use you and your cause until it no longer makes them money. Another good example is Disney and Star Wars. Woke Star Wars, pushing all these messages. In the end, you don't care about the characters, which is a shame. They destroyed Luke, they subverted expectations and made a movie that made a lot of money. Sure, Episode 8 made a lot of money, but most of the fans, after seeing it and spending their money, went, this is crap. This is terrible. This is a bad film. This is a bad film. And now they got rid of Rian Johnson, who apparently was on board for Episode 9 originally, and certainly for a new trilogy was rumoured. And, J.J. Abrams is back. This is because they don't care. They just want to make money. Okay? So, women in sports, you want more money? Go up to these apparently woke corporations and say, hey, put your money where your mouth is. See what happens. I can guarantee I know what's going to happen. You ain't going to get your payday because you're not going to make them enough money. I'm Nathan Googs Fletcher. This is my drunk philosophy. I'll catch you later. Uru.